Have a closer look at this glass of water. It has mud, it has dirt. What if I offered this glass of water to you? Would you drink it? Okay, let me do another exercise with you. Take a deep breath. In and out. Did you even think for a fraction of a second before taking that deep breath that you just took? The way you rejected the water, you did not reject the air. We do this every day, 20 to 30,000 times a day. Without rejecting, we are actually taking in bad air quality. Yes, I'm talking about air pollution. And the data is really alarming. If you see what air pollution is literally doing as an invisible killer, it's literally taking away 8 million lives. Literally 8 million lives. Let me take you through a little story. And this little story is about Ella, a 9-year-old little chirpy, happy girl from London. Ella's story is really very deep. And what happened to Ella one fine day? Although she was an asthmatic patient, there was a severe attack that she faced. And then she never came back. She lost her life. While everyone believed that Ella lost her life because of a medical condition, her mother did not give up. She failed to believe that she lost her life because of just a medical condition. She fought, and finally she created history. Ella today is the only girl in the world who has air pollution as one of the causes on her death certificate. And not just that, the London Metropolitan Court ruled that yes, air pollution was a cause of her death. Are we waiting for many Ellas around us, in the city, in the world? This is what air pollution is taking us on. So if you see globally, there is solid data on air pollution. Like I mentioned, 8 million lives that are literally going because of air pollution. We are losing our loved ones unknowingly. It's killing silently. 99% of us actually breathe bad air quality. No, it's something that we literally accept. And it's more than what we actually think. You see, air pollution, for all of us is, oh, we are coughing, there's air pollution. There's immediately, the masks up. But it's not just the lungs that air pollution is, killing. Our lungs are definitely, getting affected. But this morning we also heard about dementia and Alzheimer's. Studies actually prove that air pollution literally causes dementia and Alzheimer's. And in a country like Brazil, there was a large-scale study that actually proved that children who stay in the neighborhood with bad air quality have poor cognitive capabilities. Their memory turns weak, their academic performances go poor because they are staying in a place which has bad air quality. So heart disease, liver diseases, cancers of lungs and liver, and for all the women here in the room, for all the girls, it affects your reproductive health too. There are miscarriages, there are stillbirths, and lots of those challenges. So now coming to what are the causes of air pollution? So when you think literally, close your eyes and think about air pollution, you are literally imagining industries, chimneys, right? Nothing else. But if you see the alarming causes of air pollution, you and I, all of us in the room, are partly also contributing to air pollution. Industry is not just the only cause. There's transport, there's dust, there's construction, there's agricultural practices like crop burning, waste burning. All these actually contribute, including household energy consumption, also contribute to air pollution. So you see, there are so many causes of air pollution, and there are so many things that all of us can actually do to contribute to clean the air. If you see the percentage of causes of air pollution, specifically in a city like Mumbai, while we were thinking it would be industries, it's not. Dust and construction actually contributes to the maximum percentage of the bad air quality that we breathe, followed by vehicles, open waste burning, and if you see industry is the last, at least for our city. Isn't it a surprise that all of us are getting in the room that these are the causes? And this is just Mumbai. In Delhi, it adds up. In Delhi, it also adds up basically based on crop burning. So there are many causes of air pollution, and the contribution of each of these causes is alarming. Going forward, now I'd like to say that everyone is affected by air pollution. 99% of us are affected by air pollution, but there is no accountability. Who is accountable for this bad air quality? It is absolutely simple to sit in the room or sit at home, read newspapers, scan reels, and criticize what's happening to our air quality. Why is Mumbai city looking so hazy? Why is no one accountable for air pollution? Why is air pollution so undermined? It is because we are not asking our members of legislative assemblies, our corporators, our officers, the right question. Has anyone in the room ever asked a question when somebody has come at your doorsteps, please vote for me? Did you ever ask, what are you offering? Are you offering good air quality to me? Did anyone think of this at all? No, right? We are all normalizing air pollution. So there are countries in which people are demanding accountability on air pollution. So hence, there is, it's a challenge that all of us are affected and no one is accountable. It's not just a health challenge. It's not just an environment challenge. It is not just a planning or finance or a city level challenge. It's a multi-sectoral challenge. I just maybe, this morning I was 6 o'clock in the morning with a hope that the city would be, better in terms of air quality. If you see the screen, 87 is the PM 2.5 level. How many of us really have the air quality apps on your watches, on your phones? Yeah? Just one hand in the room, I must say. Okay, the second one. You see, we are so connected with what we do. We track our phones, we track our social media. We also track weather. Is it going to be raining? Okay, let me figure out if the weather will ask me to literally take an umbrella. But we don't track air quality. The problem is not people and systems surrounding us. The problem is also us. So we are, of course, breathing bad air quality. This was 6 a.m. Imagine what would it be now. And if you see what's happening in Delhi, it's severe. So it is also a city-level challenge that you can see. Every city is breathing different air quality. And it is such a simple topic, right? We all think and just talk about it, and there's nothing that we can actually do. This is what we feel. Air quality, just like I mentioned, different cities have different air quality. How many of us can literally afford clean air? How many of you have air purifiers in the room? Yeah? That was an expense that you made by choice, right? And they aren't cheap. They are expensive. And you need to make sure you're maintaining the filters over and over again. It is burning a hole in your pocket. But really, isn't it just very surprising to know that this actually should be a right rather than luxury? Why should one literally put money in the from their own pockets to afford clean air? It should be afforded by every citizen, of the country, every citizen. It is an inequality issue. You really think children on the street or, poor people who literally cannot afford, the air pollution monitors and air purifiers? This is an equality issue. Although we literally now think that it's luxury, but this is a grave equality issue, and it is killing more poor people than what they could actually survive. Hence, it is a very important topic, not just to speak about, but to contribute to. Though it is burning a hole in your pocket, and though it is burning a hole in in our hearts and our lungs and our livers, it is something we must think and talk about. So in Europe, last year, there was a landmark legislation. It is called as Ambient Air Quality Directive. And that has mandated clean air as a right. It is a fundamental right of the citizens. And you'll be very surprised to know that citizens in Europe, almost every citizen in Europe will actually have an AQI app on the watch, on the phone, and they'd be very easily be able to track it. And what do they do after tracking it? The legislation actually allows them to ask for compensation if their city level air quality levels are high. Can you imagine? A compensation for bad air quality. Air quality as a fundamental right. This is what they have literally done. This is a policy choice, a policy decision over the years that, that has happened in Europe. So we all are paying, as I mentioned, for bad air quality, and we are paying twice. We are paying for our health, we are also paying from our pocket, and if you see, it is not just us, our countries, our economies are burning because of air quality. The World Bank report says 8% of annual GDP across the world is getting burnt because of air pollution. So that's a very alarming number. 8% of the GDP is literally getting affected because of air pollution. But there is a good news. And the good news comes from the US study. It is the EPA study that says every $1 that you invest on clean air will actually yield $32 of return on investment. Isn't it a big number? Like $1 to $32? So it is indeed a very important and a very high yield investment. Why would governments then not make that investment? It is something that would reward us, not just now, but in future. So sensible governments are now taking economic decisions of making investments on clean air. So what are we doing about air pollution? Are we just making this noise? Are we just getting frustrated? Are we just talking about this with our friends? I can maybe start with what I am doing on air pollution. So I'm privileged to work for one of the UN agencies. It is called United Nations Development Program. In my role as a public sector innovation specialist in UNDP, we advise governments across the region in Asia Pacific on why air pollution is a complex challenge. Why is it not just a health or an environment or a planning or a city or a finance issue? It is a complex issue that actually needs communities, stakeholders, and systems and policymakers to join hands and use systems transformation approach to solve this challenge. So it is everyone's challenge, but no one's challenge. So at UNDP, I'm very proud to say that this is the approach that we are taking to advise and support governments in redesigning their policies, relooking at challenges which are complex and not sitting in one ministry and sitting in silos. And the other role that I'm playing is the head of the Secretariat-Our Common Air. Our Common Air is a global commission. It's an independent commission that works on catalyzing collective efforts on clean air. And in this commission, co-chaired by Right Honorable Helen Clark, the former New Zealand Prime Minister, and our very own Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, together with powerful voices of commissioners that we have on the commission, we are not just making noise. We are calling literally governments and societies and stakeholders to take action. So there's a clear charter and a clean air recommendation that we published. And I'm very proud to say that the work that we have done is not just elevating political will, but also making sure the recommendations are going into policy actions. I'm also one of the proud Rockefeller Big Bet Fellows, where my fellowship focused on clean air and elevating political will on clean air. So out of all of this, my success, I would say, was not just UNDP and our Common Air contributing to policies. There was a landmark legislation that happened last year. G20 is a space where global leaders meet. And they talk about situations that their respective countries face, challenges. And they join forces, they join hands on mission mode to work on those challenges. And I'm really proud to say that the work that our Common Air has done has contributed to a line in the Global Leaders Declaration. It means a lot in the multilateralism world that you can actually insert a line which prime ministers are signing and agreeing upon. And that line is, air pollution is an environmental crime. It is a very strong statement to be part of Global Leaders Declaration. So even our Prime Minister, if you can see in the picture, is there, which means there is a ray of hope that leaders will come together and will act upon what they pledged at last year's G20. Moving forward, I'd maybe now like to call upon everyone in the room. So I shared about my journey, how I contributed to clean air. Think about how all of us in the room can actually contribute to clean air. How all of us can make some difference. Not criticize, but contribute towards a movement. Imagine if Greta Thunberg thought that I can't do something alone. And I'm not going to do it because alone we can't do anything. Greta Thunberg stood up alone, and now what she does on climate change is known to the world. She's one of the inspiration of young people who are working on climate change. I'm very sure there are many Greta Thunbergs in the room, and I'm very sure that there are many kids in the room who are coming up with this hope that they are not just going to criticize, but contribute towards a mission that can help clean air. So what all of us can actually do? So I can just maybe share in India what just happened was, in Delhi, there was a movement that got started by mothers. And it is called as Warrior Moms. In London, it is called Mums for Lungs. So moms in the world are waking up because they are concerned about their children's health and making sure it's a movement. So what is it that we can start from here as a movement? Not tomorrow, not next year, but right today, here, from now on. Couple of things that I can literally say. One, think about how you can make sure that your car engines are not switched on when they are not needed at traffic signals. You know, just outside the school when your parents, your drivers are waiting for you. Let's make sure that it's not on, it's switched off. Let's make sure that next time there is an election in the city, in the state, in the country, somebody comes to ask for votes, let's make sure we ask them the right question. And the right question would be, what are you doing to offer us clean air? Clean air is our fundamental right. What are your plans in your electoral manifesto for making sure that we are all breathing clean air? Ask the right questions. Start a little social media movement. You know, invite municipal officers in your school. Make some noise about making sure there are sensors where you can track air quality. Make sure there are air quality apps on your phone to track if you are literally breathing bad air quality. So if you're able to measure, if you're able to track, if you're able to then make noise, create hashtags, create a social media movement, then this invisible killer will actually no more remain invisible because you are going to make it visible. Let's think that the right to clean air is our fundamental right, and we all need to make sure that it's not just now, but our future generations are also breathing clean air because of us. Thank you so much.